So you quit your fucking job. You must be like broke as fuck and miserable and depressed all the time and shit. I ain't ever fucking doing that. That's fucking bullshit. Oh, holy shit. We're starting off with a bang already. Welcome to another Scott the Truck Driver live stream. And before I get into anything, I just want to note that Dave and MSP just like rocked my world, and I, literally was just still rolling the credits. Hello, Scott. I have to go to my baller job. Here's something to get the party started. Let's get to 6,000 subscribers. So, holy shit. Thank you, Dave and MSP. I'll definitely be running this live stream a little longer today, thanks to your contribution. Dave and MSP has been a long-time contributor. He's one of the people that started out in the $50 tier on Patreon. Patreon is still there, but and if you like that subscription model, it's there for you, but I don't do that. I'm focused on ScottTheTruckDriver.com right now. But the generosity of my subscribers has been one of the reasons I was able to quit my baller job, if you can call it that. So thank you, Dave and MSP, and welcome to everyone in the chat room. I'm glad to be able to sit here tonight and talk about minimalism for a change, because I've kind of been beating the shit out of the ketogenic diet topic and the intermittent fasting topic. Not to say that we won't address those during the Q&A session, but for now, I want to do my spiel, which is, what I do with every live stream, so that you're not just sitting there waiting for me to read questions, because I'm a one-man band. I don't have anybody moderating or anything, so I got to do what I got to do. Hello, Irfan. Hello, Spive. Hello, Rachel. And everybody else that's in the chat. Once again, if I don't get to your comment, if the chat's going too quickly, please don't get upset. If there's a burning question you want me to try and get to and you see that I haven't gotten to it yet, repost it. However, save your questions. Talk amongst yourselves while I'm doing my spiel. And have the conversation that way for a little while. And then once I'm finished with my topic, I will go to a Q&A session, which can cover just about anything that you want to talk to me about. And, doesn't have to be limited to minimalism. So thanks again, Dave. You made my day. You have no idea. All right. So 6 months ago, many of you know, and some of you are just be coming across this, I quit my baller job, and by baller, I mean I made $60,000 a year driving a truck. I worked 70 hours a week. I was home probably 1.5 to 2 days a week, as far as weekends only. If I was home on the off chance I managed to get home, and this was on the last end of my trucking, department. If I was to be able to get home, I'd have a 10-hour break and have to go back to work again. And an hour of that was driving, to and from work. Eventually, I lived on the truck, and, I moved into the truck for a while as a minimalist before transitioning out of trucking. But I was miserable. My life was just constantly on the road in the truck. The videos I made kind of reflected, I tried to have optimism back in those days when I was being minimalist, because I had all kinds of money rolling in without a lot of money rolling out because I had managed to be debt free at that point. So today I want to kind of talk about my journey for the first 6 months so far into pursuing my dream jobs, this being one of them, along with photography and some other creative endeavors that I've since branched out in. And I know there's a lot of people that are where I was. They are locked into this 70-hour-a-week fucking grind. And it's not necessarily in trucking. There's a lot of jobs like that. For example, the other day I was driving Uber, which I do a little bit here and there to fill in gaps. Haven't had to do it as much thanks to people like Dave and MSP and other contributors on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. I've managed to, not have to drive Uber as often, but I still keep it up because I like having that as an option for if there's a famine, so to speak. But anyways, I was driving Uber the other day, and I was picking up at Syracuse University, and there's a big medical surrounding community as well there, and I picked up a doctor who basically, we got to, the first thing that anybody ever fucking talks to you about when you're in Uber is, do you like working for Uber? Do you, is this a good job to do? Is this, so on and so forth. And my answer to him was, it fits my lifestyle. As in, if I want to make a few extra bucks, if I want to work a few hours, and pull in 20 an hour, which is about what I average when I run Uber, with tips and stuff, which is good. That's a good wage for me as a minimalist, and it fills in the gaps for anything that I need to do. Ultimately, I'd like to not have to even do that, but got to pay the bills, got, to work off. I'm working off some debt still. I'm almost debt-free again. I anticipate being debt-free again really soon, which is an important step in the process. We'll go through, the preparation in case you might be thinking you might want to try what I'm doing. But we're in there, and the conversation comes up, and turns out this guy is a baller, as far as jobs go. He's a doctor. His average work week is 100 hours. He's miserable as fuck. And he can't get out of it. You want to know why he can't get out of it? $400,000 in student loan debt. Just let that sink in. It triggered me. That, I didn't say anything to him, but I was triggered that they're setting you up to basically enslave yourself for 10 to 15 years, depending on your income as a doctor, and making you work hundreds of hours a week to pay for that. And you can't get out of it. He wants out, but he says he's got 10 years to go before and that's if he's pounding away at that student loan debt, which isn't going anywhere. You can't get out of it. They're coming for that money. One way or another, if you're getting a paycheck, they're going to get their money. And that is, very, very fucked up, and we're setting everyone up. I haul a lot of college kids around, and we're setting them up with these massive amounts of debt, essentially locking them in to whatever they studied as a career, and they might not get a job within that study or one that pays accordingly to reverse that student loan, hence enslaving them to that life and giving them no freedom, no ability to spend time for themselves versus time for their fucking jobs. And it's a ridiculous amount of enslavement that's going on that we're completely blind to, you know? I mean, and I got out of the corporate world for that reason. I do not want somebody dictating when I can take time off, when I can fucking get up in the morning, what kind of, amount of time home I get to have, and there's all these things that I just got sick of 6 months ago, being a trucker, that I just had enough. And, my boss rubbed me the wrong way and told him to fuck off. And I hung up on him and then unpacked my truck. And then that was that. And thus began my journey into pursuing my dream work, the more fulfilling work. This channel is one of the most fulfilling jobs I have. Now, I see the chats has been blowing up about the Uber thing. Uber is a horrible business model. Same efforts get way more in legal taxi after expenses. Uber is less than minimum wage. That is not true. I will say that this is not supposed to be an Uber video. But if you purchase an affordable vehicle that is in good condition, the vehicle I have was $1,200 value. It's already paid for itself. After fuel costs, which, are moderate, I can average $20 an hour if I pick and choose my battles. Now, if you're working a shitty slow night, you're fucked. You're going to make that minimum wage. If you work on the peak hours or the hours that they drive you to work, they want you to work holidays, they want you to work, busy times and events and that kind of stuff, then your hourly can go up significantly. And also long trips pay every bit as much as trucking. So if you can pull off a long trip, you're getting anywhere from 75 cents to almost $1 a mile driving Uber, is depending on the tip. So that's what Uber is. So Circus Boy, I realize you're passionately against Uber, but this isn't, really what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is, since I quit my job, Lucretia C just, sorry, Lucretia just super chatted $10. From a vegan who loves you and is happy for your success, you are a humble dude. I try. And thank you. I wouldn't call myself a success yet, but I'm working on it. We're getting there. We're growing. Both in lifestyle and so on and so forth. So, back to what I was saying. Anyways, I keep getting distracted by the chat window. That's how I go. So I quit my job, right? And, a lot of people can't do that. Now, before you walk into your boss on Monday and say, you know what? Fuck you. Scott the truck driver did it. I can do it. There was a significant amount of prep that I had already begun prior to taking that step. And it is a very important thing to do before you make the leap of quitting that fucking job you hate. The job you feel enslaved and trapped in. The job that isn't fulfilling you, that's eating up all your time and not giving you much in return. The job that's pissing you off every day and stressing you out and making you fucking miserable. I know there are people that are happy in their job. I know there are people that are, living the dream. But I also know a lot more people that are fucking miserable, and the only reason they go to work is to support their lifestyle and their bills. So the first very important step before you even can consider doing what I've done is to become debt-free. If you're paying out the ass in finance charges and paying credit card bills and student loan bills and all of that shit, you've got a chain around you, and it's chaining you to that job. It's a huge chain in some cases, like that doctor who has a $400,000 chain. It could take me like 20 years to come up with that kind of scratch. And it was mind blowing. And it's such a, since it's a number in a computer, imagine if you had $400,000 sitting in front of you, how horrible that would fucking make you feel to know that you owe that amount, that you have to give that away. And what did you get in return? A job you fucking hate. You're not happy, and you have to keep doing it. You don't know when you're in college that you're going to love that job. And you might not even get the job you were hoping to get, that you went to college for. I'm a college dropout. I did some semesters in film school, and doors were opening for me back then, but I couldn't step through them for other reasons. So, being it doesn't matter what your chosen career is, or even if you went to college, the first step would be to get out of debt. And that means busting your ass, not doing shit, not spending money discretionally, and pounding away at debt. And I follow the Dave Ramsey model for the debt snowball, where you get rid of the lowest debt first and then work your way up. And each time you do, you get more money to throw at the next debt until eventually all the debt is gone. It took me about 5 years to get through my debt doing that. And I still managed to have a decent lifestyle while getting through debt. And then when I went minimalist, I pretty much became debt-free at that point. So being debt-free is the first step. If you aren't debt-free, you can't just walk into your boss and say, "Fuck you, I hate you, I'm leaving, this place is bullshit." You can't do it. You need to get rid of the debt. So that should be priority number one. I did that, check, good to go. Then, you got to have a plan. How are you going to pay your existing living expenses? So then you got to take a look at your living expenses. Are you wasting money? Are you spending money on things that sit in closets? Do you have a huge house filled with shit that you're never using, or that you're not even there to use half the time because you're busy working all the time? Are you accumulating tons of materialistic possessions that bring you a little bit of pleasure in the moment, but then it fucking sits somewhere and takes up space, and you pay for the space it takes up? And then you have to deal with it as your clutter increases. So I looked at it like this. Okay, I knew I was making a decent living as a trucker. I knew that I wanted out. I knew I wanted to do this kind of stuff for a living. I wanted to focus on my YouTube channel. I wanted to focus on my photography and other ways of making money that involved me being the boss, not somebody else. So, it's important to, I keep getting distracted. I got to stop looking at the fucking chat. It's important to start to structure your lifestyle by downsizing it to the level of income that is low enough that you can quit your job. Also building up a pad, a financial savings to live off of during the transition period, because your dream job isn't going to pay what your baller job did. And this is my dream job. And right now, between all my income streams, YouTube, Uber, which somebody was taking a shit on in chat, occasional photography clients, part-time as a DJ in a karaoke club, and whatever other odd jobs come up in there. Those are my 5 income streams. And right now I'm sitting at about anywhere from $900 to $1,000 a month grand total that I can pull off consistently every month. My subscribers and YouTubers contributors are a huge part of that number, by the way. And this channel that's why I put so much time and effort into making videos, into doing live streams, into doing all of these research projects, developing the website. I spend a whole lot of time busting my ass to make sure that I keep you guys happy here on YouTube, because you are a big part of that number. And that number has been slowly growing. And once it surpasses what I need to survive to where I only have the one income stream that I need, I'll still keep some backup plans because I'm just nervous like that. But I can focus on this full time and spend all my time doing just this. But leaving that aside, whatever you're looking to do, you should start doing it before you quit, which is what I did. I started this channel long before I quit my trucking job. I started my photography long before I quit my trucking job. I was looking at how do I monetize those things so that I can live and do them for a living. And it meant taking a huge cut in lifestyle. And living on less than $1,000 a month when I used to get $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a week as a truck driver is a huge change in lifestyle, and you should downsize accordingly. I got rid of 70% of my shit. I moved into the truck. I quit. And now I live in a small room in someone's house. And I pay for that with a very small amount of money, like $200 a month-ish. And that is where I'm at. And some of that I can do as work trade or vehicle trade. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as how I'm surviving today. And that is a downsize of lifestyle. Not feasible for everyone. Some people have large families. For me, as a single male, this is the amount of lifestyle I need. And that's what you need to think about is the small, how small can you go in terms of lifestyle? And then that should be the amount of money you shoot to make in whatever endeavor you're doing. And start working on these things before you quit your job. That way, it's just a smooth transition. You're already up and running on whatever your dream job is, whatever you wish you were doing instead that is of your making, not in the corporate world, that you create your business and that it's already flowing. Even though if you can only dedicate a little bit of hours here and there to building it, and then you make the smooth transition over, and if you made a pad, you're debt-free, you've downsized your life, then you've freed yourself from that job you fucking hate. And that's what you got to do, you know, to get from working your shit job to being happy. A lot of things for me, now, you know, I wanted to share my experience on this. You know, it was a little rough going in the beginning. You know, the income was really low. I relied more heavily on the much hated Uber and more heavily on, you know, different income streams other than YouTube when I first made the jump. But it drove me to bust my ass to build this channel. And it, you know, made me work harder on the business. It drove me to work harder on photography. It drove me to work harder on every aspect of producing my own income streams as I could. And you need that drive to do that. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Now, this could be, the formula is different depending on what kind of business you want to do. What is your dream business to jump into? Mine is to be able to do this, photography, and travel eventually, and, you know, do travel vlogging and photography on top of that. Those are my dreams, you know, and there's people out there living those dreams. And I'm like, why not me? Well, the people out there living those dreams made a lot of sacrifices to get there. And since I went minimalist, I've not felt deprived. I have plenty of nice things that I use on a regular basis. Being a minimalist doesn't mean being, you know, in a room with a fucking chair and a cardboard box for a table and, you know, your walls all painted white while you wear white clothes and, you know, go to sleep in your white floor next to the white chair that's in the middle of the room. That's, you know, a version of minimalism, but that's not the kind of minimalism I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting rid of the shit that I wasn't using, that had no value in my life, that was taking up space, getting rid of objects and things that I don't use and replacing them with things that I do use and get joy from. And if something sits in my life for too long, it goes, if I haven't touched it in a long time. And I still have things on the chopping block today. This is an ongoing process. But when I did that, I shrunk my overhead significantly so that I was able to absorb switching from that fucked up job to a more free life. So what have I got? What did I get for giving up that extra money? That's the big question, isn't it? Well, I got time. Free time. Family wants to see me? Okay, I'll come on over. What day? Friend wants me to come over and hang out? All right, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll just move this over here, move that over there, and here we go. I want to go on a road trip. Time to go. Somebody offers me a trip to St. Lucia so I can take pictures. Like literally last minute. Like a week or two before actually leaving, I got offered. Well, yeah. Fuck yeah. Name me a job where you can just be like, oh, hey, boss, you mind if I take a fucking week off next week? You know, they're going to laugh their ass off at you. You'll be lucky to have a job when you get back. When you're your own boss, you can do these things. And, you know, if you've looked back through some of my past minimalism videos, you know that the world kind of opened up for me a little bit when I did this. Things that were impossible while making more money became possible while making less money. You know, I've been on 2 trips. I've done, you know, countless amount of excursions out into the world that wouldn't have happened if I was trucking, because I would be in the truck. It's the same thing if you're working a lot of hours in a job you hate. You're going to spend all your time, and that's going to consume all your energy, and you'll have nothing left over. You know, that'll be that. So it's important, if you are trapped, to dig yourself out as quickly as you can without relying on debt, without relying on, you know, anything but your earning power. And then once you are free of that debt, I can tell you, being debt-free is the greatest thing in the world. Because you want something, oh, you don't have enough money for it, well, you got to be patient. That's the only thing debt does for you, by the way. I want it now. I got to have it now. Give it to me, motherfucker. Here's my plastic thing so you can give me that. And then you're going to pay 3 times as much for that in the end. Unless you're a badass motherfucker and you can keep up with every payment and nothing ever goes wrong in your life, you know. But if you look at the statistics, that ain't exactly how debt works. A lot of people end up fucked. Like that doctor. 400 grand. And in the job he landed with that, he said it'd take him 10 years to pay it off. It is what it is. So, you know, if you love your job, this isn't a conversation for you, but you can improve your flexibility financially by getting rid of debt, downsizing your life, and then you'll have a lot of money from that job to do more things that you want to do or to help more people that you want to help. And that will bring so much positivity into your life that you didn't even know was fucking possible. I didn't know any of this shit was possible. All the shit I've been through coming up. So 6 months in, am I happier? Yes. You know, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying I don't have my good days and my bad days and, you know, rough times and good times or bad times or anything like that. I'm saying it is a better step up from what I was doing, making $60,000 a year driving a truck. And doing things in a way where I'm the boss, where I can dictate when I get up, how much work I do, and how much time I get to do the things I want to do. And that's what's important and why I'm doing it. And turns out one of the things I love to do is work on this channel. So the fact that I can make a living doing this is something I never conceived of when I started this channel. And thanks to you guys and the subscribers and the, you know, the contributors and the patrons, everyone has been so supportive of what I've been doing that has made a dream come true for me. You know, and a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to be a YouTuber, I'm going to be a millionaire. No. There are some YouTubers that get there. I doubt I will be one of them. I'm happy and content if I can survive my current lifestyle while doing this for a living. And the only reason this was possible, this would not have happened if I stayed in that truck. I wouldn't only be able to pump out one video a week. I wouldn't be able to do near the amount of research I do. I wouldn't be able to read the constant articles and stuff. I wouldn't be able to communicate with you guys on a regular basis. Messages, talking, all of that shit that I do, I wouldn't be able to do if I was on that truck. You know, you'd hear from me once a week, tops, or once in a blue moon. This, you know, is just an example. Whatever your dream is, don't give up on it. All right? A lot of people get locked into that 9-to-5 fucking shackle with their debt, and they think that their dreams are so far to reach that they don't bother. If you start taking small steps in that general direction, your dreams can come true. You just got to work at it. And you are in charge of that. No one's going to help you. You know, no one's going to push you to do anything. You have to take the leap. You have to do the work and put in the time necessary. And starting businesses is not easy. And most businesses fail. And my photography business failed the first time I ran it. It's okay now because I'm only utilizing it for a part-time job type style anyway. And I'm happier only doing part-time client work. It leaves me more creative means to do. So, in having diversified your income streams is also another key thing. Thank you, Circus Boy 90210. Dreams can come true. Believe in yourself. And that's a true story. And he's, whoa, now he's talking shit. Here, I'll put him up so he can have his time to tell me to buy some chapstick. Look, my lips are big. They dry out. It's fucking wintertime. It is what it is. I don't like chapstick. I don't like the feel of it. I don't like the taste of it. So I just deal with my lips being crusty and just don't look at them or something. Maybe I'll blur them out in future videos or something. Holy shit. Nuns on Fire. That's a creative name. Here's to living the dream, brother. Thank you for the inspiration to get my shit together. Well, I'm glad I can inspire people. I know I've inspired a lot of people in the weight loss department. I'm pretty new to the minimalism. Yeah, I'm struggling with it myself. Lifestyle improvement, it has been a goal of mine, and you know, I'm not saying don't buy things. You know, if just make sure that you're going to use them. That's the thing. Now, if I shop, I actually toil over whether or not I buy something nowadays. It's, you know, am I going to use it? How often am I going to use it? Do I have fucking time to use it? Yeah, I might meet those first two, but it might not meet the time thing, you know? What if I don't have fucking time in my life to use that thing to make it worth the time it took to buy it? It's not worth it. And that's the other thing you gotta do if you're gonna do this. You gotta look at money like time. However much your earning power is per hour, you're giving an hour of your life. So when you go down to like the mall and you're walking through the mall and you're ready to buy shit, instead of looking at the price, and this ratio is different for everyone. Some people can walk in the mall like it's nobody's business, and they wouldn't be giving up a whole lot of their time to spend money. And yeah, okay, whatever. But for those of us that, you know, aren't rich or ballers, you should go into that place and look at how much time are you going to have to work to pay for that item. And then how much time and energy are you going to get out of that item? How how much is it going to contribute to your overall happiness and time in life? And when you start looking at everything you spend money on through that lens, you'll get there. You'll understand that the most valuable thing in our life isn't the shit that you buy at Walmart or the shit that you buy at Best Buy, or if I can go to the goddamn mall and buy all that shit or clothes and all that crap. That's not the most valuable thing. Big, huge houses filled with all kinds of shit we don't need, not the most valuable thing. The most valuable thing we get is time. And the reason it's the most valuable thing we get is because there's only a finite amount of it. So spend your time wisely. That's the bottom line. That's what minimalism's all about. It's spending your time wisely. Speaking of time, Circus Boy is just throwing all kinds of money into the chat here. This is a new one. I've never seen somebody give more than one. Once. Let me put the thing up. But yeah, get a Hasselblad large format. I'm going to need a whole lot more than $10 if you want me to do that, Circus Boy, because that's, what, a $7,000 camera, something like that. As it stands, I don't need that. Here's a good example. I'm a photographer. A Hasselblad large format camera would do a pretty good job for me. But not worth the money and the time it would take me to recoup that cost. Because when you're a photographer, whenever you buy equipment, you have to think of it, how long is it going to take for you to pay for that equipment. I recently just traded in my D500 for a D850, along with 2 lenses that I wasn't using very much, and I was able to upgrade to the D850. And I still have my Sony, which you're watching this very video being filmed through. So, you know, I could covet that Hasselblad large format, which is a big, huge megapixel monster with a very huge sensor, but it wouldn't shoot events very well. It wouldn't shoot, it'd do portraiture, and we're talking really heavily set up portraiture. It would do landscapes, which I like landscapes, but landscapes don't pay the bills. It, you know, it would do all kinds of really fine artwork, but at the end of the day, I can do the same thing with that D850. And D850 is no schlub of a camera. It's, you know, second to the top of Nikon's lineup. And it would just take me a little bit more work to produce the same image. You know, I would have to do a panorama and go in and edit it and image stack if I needed some better low light performance. But the point is, I can produce an image the same as that Hasselblad with a lesser camera. You could do it with a $300 camera if you had 4 or 5 hours of your life to spend in post. You know, depending on the subject matter. But, you know, that's kind of, you know, where I'm at. That, you know, that is an example of a decision I make when purchasing something. Yes, if I was a baller and the cost of a Hasselblad didn't, you know, really move the needle in terms of the amount of time I have to spend, yes, as a photographer, I would own something like that. But you got to live within your means, well within your means. And I'm not willing to trade the amount of time. You said $15,000 for the camera. I thought I saw one for less. But, you know, when you spend that amount of money, what are you getting in return? How long would it take for that Hasselblad to pay for itself? That's the other thing you got to think about it from a business perspective. You know? Yeah, it's a great camera. And it's $15,000. How many fucking clients do you have to work for to make that happen? How much shooting do you have to do to get your money out of that, back out of that camera before you even make a profit off of it? So, you know, these are the things you got to think about with just about every purchase you make, no matter what the purchase is. So, let me wrap up my spiel and we'll get into some Q&A. So I am happier now than I was as a truck driver. I make a lot less money now than I did as a truck driver. But I have freedom. You know, if somebody wants me to visit them, I can visit them. Very soon, if I want to take a road trip somewhere or travel the country and take the show on the road, so to speak, I plan on doing that. And it'll be to where I want to go, not where some company's sending me, not with a limited amount of time to be in said place. You know, there's going to be things coming down the line in minimalism where I go out on the road for lengthy periods of time to travel, to see the things that, even though I was trucking for 14 years, that I didn't get to see because I spent all my time trucking. Trucking and sleeping, and trucking and sleeping, and fuck. Fuck that shit. Freedom to do the things that I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about this channel. I'm passionate about improving my lifestyle. I'm passionate about helping everyone by sharing the things I've done to improve myself, both in health and lifestyle. And that is what brings me the most joy, not moving freight from fucking Walmart's distribution center to the store so people can buy more plastic shit, or ferrying the sugar from the cereal factory to the fucking store so people can get diabetes, heart disease, and any other kind of fucking disease that's going into the mix. So that's kind of where I'm at currently at 6 months. Could it change? Could it all fall apart? Yes, it could. But I've diversified and prepared for famine. And that's what you should do. You should have an emergency fund. You should make sure that when things dry up, and YouTube can go south. Look at Logan Paul. He just took a big hit on his pay because he fucking put a dead body on YouTube and fucked ad revenue for a week for all the rest of us. Thanks, Logan. Was it worth it? Sorry. I get a little fucking triggered every now and then. But, you know, I know that I could fuck this up and it'll end my YouTube career. I could say the wrong shit or do the wrong thing, or maybe everybody just decides keto sucks and fasting sucks and they decide they don't want nothing to do with it anymore. I know all of that could happen and I'm prepared for it. I have outs. You know, photography being the biggest out I have. Uber being a nice little backup plan that isn't going anywhere anytime soon where I'm at. But having more than one income stream, and most wealthy people, by the way, most ballers have more than one income stream. That's, you know, all you need to do. And then you just work hard. And at first, when you're working hard, like on this channel, when I first started this channel 3 years ago, it's getting close to 3.5 years, I think, or maybe 4. I don't know. I lose track. But when I first started this, I was doing shit tons of work on this channel without a cent. Hours and hours of editing, filming, cutting, research, you know, so on and so forth. And I started out as an entertainment, and it grew into what it is today, which is weight loss, lifestyle, health improvement, you know, and whatever the fuck else I decide I want to talk about that I think would help people. And that's really what you need to do to have a successful YouTube channel. You have to bring value to people's lives. And the comments and stuff and messages and emails I get all tell me I'm doing that. I'm bringing value to people's lives. So as long as I keep doing that, this channel will survive. So that's why I'm focused heavily on this channel. I do lots of work above and beyond any of the money I receive. And you have to work hard on your passions. And I easily work the same amount of hours, if not occasionally more hours, doing this that I did in trucking. I'm flexible with it. If I need a break, I take a break. But there's times when I don't have anything going on and I'm bored and I could sit here and play a fucking video game, or I could do some research, or I could film, edit a film or edit pictures. I got a backlog of pictures I've been cranking on. So, it's time management. It's putting the effort in to make your dream come true. That's the piece that no one's going to give you. That's not going to happen without you putting in the effort to make it fucking happen. And you're going to put in a whole lot of sweat equity to make your dream come true. It's not going to be handed to you. You're not entitled to it. You have to put the work, effort, and not give up when you fall. Keep getting back on the horse. Just like you do with diet, you do the same thing with lifestyle. You fall off the horse, you get back on the fucking horse. And you just keep doing it over and over again. And sooner or later, you get pretty good at staying on the horse. You know, you realize how much it sucks when you fall off the fucking horse. So, you gotta just keep going. And keep putting in the effort for your dreams. Figure out what the hell your dreams are. Figure out how you could make a living doing them. Look to people that already are making a living doing them. And I've done that. I've looked into how YouTubers survive out here. How do you think I ended up on Patreon and start my own website and doing tons of live streams? That's what all the other YouTubers are doing to survive and to be able to make content for a living. And it's a lot of work. A lot of people don't see the work that goes into, you know, even just a video. So, and this live stream, for example, you know, it's probably going to be a couple hours long. But I spent 3 hours changing my setup today because I upgraded some things. You know, I don't know if you can see through the fucking cracks back here. There's a green screen back there. I upgraded that. I took one of my soft boxes and retrofitted it to my video light, so hopefully the light looks a little better, and I'm using my DSLR instead of my camcorder to film this now. So that's kind of what we're at. So anyways, now that I have finished my spiel, I'm going to head into the chat, which has been flowing, and we're going to do some Q&A and talk to motherfuckers. And look at that. First thing, we got a troll right away. Prawl Merled. Keto is a fad. Keto is not a fad. Keto is how mankind ate prior to agriculture. Hunter-gatherers were eating keto. Every once in a while they get some fruit, but mostly keto. But not risking turning this into that kind of debate. Keto is not a fad. It is what we are designed to eat. And only during the last 100 years have we really managed to fuck up how we're designed to eat. And you don't believe me? Look at the statistics. You need proof? There it is. All right, what do we got here? Let me scroll up a little. Rochelle Pincus, have thought about getting a tiny house? I think I would be. I would love a tiny house. It's not on my agenda right now. I do have some obligations keeping me here. So, yeah, someday there might be a tiny house in my future. And I would love to do that and film it and show you guys things. I do, however, need a space to do the video work. And I don't know that a tiny house would provide me a lot of space to do something like that. So I probably need a separate space, you know, like an office, so to speak, to go to if I were to keep doing the channel that far down the line. Lucretia, please, Scott, I need your help, please. Let's see, what did you ask a question? Did I miss a question from you? I know you contributed, so I want to make sure that I get to your question. Okay, I don't see that. Please retype the question, Lucretia, and I'll be happy to answer that question. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Rochelle, what is up with your love life? Oh, God, you're going to make me talk about that bullshit. I don't want to talk about that. Nothing. I don't have a love life. You know, I've dated a few in the recent past, and I've decided that I don't want to date yet because I'm tired of that shit. I don't, you know, the dating pool seems really fucked up right now. I'm not seeing a lot of single women out there that will put up with my lifestyle, first of all, or haven't had a rough go of things and are also equally on guard like I am. So right now, love life is not on my agenda. I have other things I'm working on first. Once everything's locked in, I've, got a routine going. I've got the businesses all fully functional and I'm making a good living, because when you do get in a relationship, you can't just live the same exact lifestyle that I'm living now unless they are of like mind. And I can tell you, there's not a lot of minimalist women that I've encountered in the dating world. So we'll see. If something happens, it happens. I am currently not pursuing it. You're not going to see me on Tinder swiping all fucking day saying, oh, yeah, no, not my life. Not on my agenda. I've been in enough relationships. I've kind of did my time as far as I'm concerned in that, and I'm not looking to do that again. Lucretia, is that your question? Can I have coconut milk instead of dairy because I am vegan? Well, of course you can. If you want to be a vegan keto, it's really not super different. You will need supplements. B12, B6, basically all the shit that you're not getting from plants, or not getting from animals, you need to supplement. And that's well known that vegans have to supplement B12 and various other things. And make sure that you're consuming them with either olive oil or coconut oil when you're doing that. You can have a high-fat vegan diet. I think it would suck. That's just my personal opinion. I like my animal fats plenty, and trust me, I don't think I could be a keto without my animal foods. So, but realizing that there are vegans who do want to be ketogenic as close as possible without eating animals for ethical reasons, yeah, you don't do dairy. And you don't have to do dairy. And a lot of ketos, ironically, have moved away from dairy because there's problems with dairy. There's people that have intolerances. There's, it's a more direct delivery method for whatever antibiotics and crap that they're feeding the cows. So it can have a negative effect. And if you feel like shit, try going without dairy for a while and see how that changes, But if you're a vegan, you don't have to do dairy. You don't have to do meat. You just do have to supplement. And, you're going to have to make olive oil your friend. All right? You're going to put olive oil on a lot of shit. Or you're going to be hungry a lot. And that's something the veganism diet doesn't address, is the hunger issue. If you want the satiety and satisfaction of not being hungry as a vegan, you got to go keto vegan. Which means a lot of added fat, olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil, I think, too, you can do. So, hope that answers your question. Rosemary Bud, Scott, do you think keto is the ultimate minimalist way of eating? Yes, I think it does align with minimalism a little bit, mainly because you're only eating when you're hungry at that point. You're not eating for pleasure. You're not eating for, because you're constantly hungry. You get to a point where food is, it's time to eat because it's time to eat. You're not looking forward to meals as much, I guess. And some look at that as a negative. I myself, I like my keto foods. I look forward to them. They're my reward. I don't do them excessively because I fast. I intermittently fast constantly. So to me, yeah, you have to eat, There's nothing in minimalism about diet. But there are things that we spend money on for food which have a negative diminishing return. And if you're eating processed foods and sugar, you're going to get huge costs later in life through medical, pills, prescriptions, doctor visits, hospitalization, loss of limbs, so on and so forth. But we don't really need to figure. I've been beating that shit to death in my other videos. Just keep in mind, is the foods you're eating bringing you joy? And you won't be able to stay on keto if you're not happy being keto. And it takes a while to get happy being keto. At first, there's an adjustment period, a withdrawal from sugar and carbs. But once you're firmly implanted in keto, which I am right now, all I think about when I want something to eat is keto. Like, if I'm thinking about going out to the kitchen to find food, I'm not looking for potato chips and popcorn, ice cream, and all that shit. I'll go out and grab some cheese curds. Sometimes I'll grab some pecans. Sometimes I'll get some unsweetened dark chocolate. I still do artificial sweetener. I have cut back significantly. But, you know, I'm not out there, you know, craving anything. I'm out there, I'll just have me a keto snack. You know, I'm a little hungry. I'll eat, you know. And because I do that, I've trained myself to only get hungry every other day because I'm doing ADF at a bare minimum for my fasting. So it's, you know, it's a matter of only eating the foods that bring you enough pleasure and enough health to offset the costs later on down the line. You want to eat in a way that isn't going to put you in the hospital, isn't going to destroy your quality of life. So if you were to apply that thought standard to keto, I would say it fits. All right, what else? Notorious SOB, bacon. Yeah, bacon. Bacon is a reward food, definitely. And it's also, believe it or not, healthy. Don't tell anybody, because I don't want the price of bacon to go up anymore than it already has. Circus Boy 9210, beer is good in moderation. Well, if by moderation you mean once a month, every month and a half or so, then yeah, you can probably have some beer. But if you're drinking it every weekend, it's not good for you. You're going to pretty much maintain fatty liver at that point. So I am currently 20. Actually, what is my BMI? I should probably look that up. Huh? I haven't done that in a while. Thanks for asking. Let me pull up a web page here. And let's find out what my fucking BMI is live. Let's see here. And this is a good tool for those of you who want to learn how to do this. Just go into Google, BMI calculator. All right, let's see. Oh, look at that. It's right up on the fucking search engine. Wait. Let's see. What was I this morning? 189.0 pounds. Height, 6 foot, 0 inches. I am 25.6, which is about 0.6 over, you know, I'm 0.6 over the regular BMI. Normal BMI is under 25. So that's where I'm at today, BMI-wise. When I started out, I was at 255. So let's see how far I came. So I was at 34 BMI when I started, 34.6. So I went from 34.6 down to 25.6. But BMI is kind of bullshit. We all know that. But it's a nice little benchmark, I guess, for progress as far as weight loss is concerned. Not necessarily if you're looking in terms of muscle and shit. Lone hiker sometimes. Love keto, but going full carnivore. I love simplicity with my minimalist lifestyle. Like I said before, I'm not looking forward to doing carnivore. You know, I hear good things about it. But a lot of the foods I like a lot of cheese. I like nuts. I like my Greek yogurt, full fat. I don't know that I want to go without those things. I don't know that it's necessary for me to go without those things. What would be the return on that investment of just going strict meat? How much further would it, change health span for the good or for the bad? These are all questions I would ask myself before deciding to go carno full time. But for now, I'll experiment with it. I might do a 30-day carnivore challenge, and who knows, maybe I'll like it. But that's a lot. It seems more expensive to me because a lot of the carnivores I see, they spend fucking 4 pounds of meat per day. I'm like, that seems excessive. I could get through maybe 1.5 pounds of meat a day, but I would be disgustingly full if I did that. Marianne Hanley just contributed $10 to the Not Going Back in the Truck Fund. Thank you for your contribution via Super Chat and shit. So, what else we got? Did I miss somebody here? I'm going to randomly pick something that jumps out at my ADD-ness. Let's see what we got here. Circus Boy 920210. Not eating for pleasure, sacrilege. Now, you know, the human body is capable, your palate is capable of change. Something that might not taste good to you today, if you consistently ate it, you would learn to like it. There are foods I've introduced that I never used to eat. Asparagus. I used to hate asparagus. Now I put some butter and some fucking seasoning on that shit and I can eat asparagus. I like asparagus. I don't go too crazy with it. It's a little on the upper end of the keto spectrum in terms of carbs. But I like having asparagus. I used to hate spinach when I was a kid. Now I can't get enough of it. I eat fucking tons of it in my salad. Every once in a while, I'll steam it and put some butter over that shit. Taste changes. And I get pleasure out of the foods I eat, but not everybody does get pleasure out of ketogenic foods. But I do contend that if you do it long enough, it becomes pleasurable, and you no longer crave sugar, you no longer crave the carbs, and I don't. I haven't desired it or wanted a cheat day in quite a while now, since November. And I get pleasure when I eat. I went out to dinner. I was invited to dinner not too long ago for a celebratory dinner, and I ate prime rib. And I was in fucking heaven. I was like, oh yeah. Look at big, huge chunks of fat and shit. I felt great. I loved it. Every last bite of that shit. Had spinach on the side with some melted butter on it. It was fucking great. I was full. I gained a pound the next day. Water weight, mainly. It fell off during the next fast. You can even see that pattern if you look in my blog on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So, I get pleasure out of keto. If you don't like your diet, you're not going to stick to it. That's the bottom line. So if you're doing keto and you're just doing it temporarily, you might as well not even bother because you'll gain the weight back when you go back to the way you were eating before. It has to be something you like. And you can tailor it. There's a lot of recipes to replace the pleasurable foods. There's a lot of keto junk foods, keto baked goods. There's plenty of that. And after you've acclimated to being keto a long time, stevia erythritol tastes every bit as good as sugar and is every bit as addictive, without the detrimental health effects, of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and all the other bullshit that comes with it. Jury's still out on some of these, and their long-term health effects. But we've already experimented with sugar, so I'm ready to move on to something else for my sweetness. There's keto junk foods. There's keto pleasure foods. It's no doubt about it. It's just we removed pasta, which is a big one. No mac and cheese from motherfucker anymore. And that was probably one of my favorite pasta dishes. But I've replaced pizza with, various... I've tried it with keto crusts, and I've tried it with just the toppings in a bowl, and I like the toppings in a bowl, and I get lots of pleasure from that shit. So let's see. Liza Fool, would full-time carnivore pose a risk of upping endotoxin in the gut? Intermittent carnivore, better option perhaps. The other reason I wouldn't go carnivore is because I don't think we could do it like our ancestors did it. The ones that lived carnivore. There are enzyme changes that take place to adapt to a stricter diet like that. You need to be able to digest massive amounts of protein and meat. And there is a upper limit to the amount of protein before you start having kidney problems. And you if you overeat protein, you get what's called, what was it fucking called? There was a name for it. It's some sickness. I'd have to look it up. but it's a sickness that you get when you overconsume a certain percentage of protein in your diet. So that is a risk of carnivory. Carnivore diet should consist of very high fat cuts of meat, leaving tons of fat in the mix. These are all reasons why I don't think full carnivore full time should be a thing. That, and I like the non-carnivore foods. Roman Graham, Scott, have you tried zucchini pasta? Nope. Well, actually, I take it back. I did try cauliflower version of pasta, but I didn't like that either. You know what? I'm good without pasta. I put lots of cheese. I'm a dairy guy. I like dairy. I use lots of cheese, and I just eat it with a fucking fork. I'll put some ground beef and shit. I put some low-carb pizza sauce in with that, and I enjoy it every bit as much as I used to with a bowl of goulash or spaghetti or something. So, Zycotic break. Red meat is good for you. Ruminants are machines that turn garbage nutrient wheat grass into nutrient-dense steak. True, we are not designed to digest and ferment grass in our guts the way ruminants are. I wish that was all the cows were eating. However, the cows are being fed corn and shit, and meal and the shit that makes us fucked up. And I contend, it's a diminishing return on the health of factory farmed meat versus how much health span you get cost, eating factory farmed meat versus organic, grass-fed shit. We're talking probably 1 year difference in life health span, just making the switch to organic. And, it's kind of a diminishing return. There are ethical reasons to not eat, factory farmed and to eat, organic, grass-fed, properly butchered livestock. And that's one thing I can agree with the vegans on. Our factory farming is fucking atrocious. We need to fucking clean that shit up, make it proper. There's no reason we can't go all organic. The only reason we don't is the big sweet dollar, and it probably will be a little pricier if we were to go full-blown organic. But we'd also have more farms producing full organic. It wouldn't be this massive fucking cow factory, so to speak, in one little part of the country. They'd be spread out, and it could even be international. But that's a whole other topic and shit. Oh, yeah, Prawl Merled. He got it. I knew there was a name for it. Rabbit starvation is when you eat only extremely lean meat. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. Don't overdo your protein. You need lots of fat, not lean meat. You're not eating the lean cuts. If you're a carnivore, I highly advise you find the fattiest, eat as much fat from animals as you can if you're going to be a carnivore. Because you need it. You need the fat. And if you're doing that, you'll get too full to overeat the protein. You just won't be able to do it. They've done experiments to try and overfeed people, and it doesn't work. Because you don't want to eat. Lucretia, I live in the ghetto in Pittsburgh. It's a dumping ground for shitty meat. And that's another issue with keto that I can, agree with, is food environment is a big factor of sustainability. If you are in a shitty food desert and your only options are to eat out or to go down to a convenience store where everything's twice the price as a grocery store and doesn't keep a stock of whole foods necessarily, if they do, they're a little suspect looking on top of that. There are places all over the world where you don't get access to a grocery store. You don't get access to Whole Foods. You don't have farmers markets. You don't have all of these lovely luxuries. And you have to travel a pretty good distance to get to them. Which isn't feasible for some people who are working 70 hours a week and have a family to feed. So it's important that we keep that in mind as, one of the things that need to be addressed as far as our nutrition is we need to make these foods available to everyone. And I know they're not available because I've been a truck driver for 14 years. I've seen the worst of the worst. I've been forced to live off of fast food and shitty truck stop restaurants filled with vegetable oil, sugar, and huge 20-gallon fucking tanks of soda and shit for so many fucking years. So I know what it's like to try and be keto in a food desert, and I did it out there, and it wasn't fun, and it included some processed meats from fucking shitty fast food places in that process, or, I was, Tim Hortons fucking egg McMuffin sandwich or whatever every fucking morning. I'd take the bun off of two of those and eat those when I was keto on the road. So yeah, you got to do the best you can, but I can understand if someone can't stick to keto because they just can't get the food or, the time to prepare things or so on and so forth. That's why I wish there was more keto style restaurants and it wasn't such a minefield out there. It's hard to be keto. I cannot disagree with anyone that argues to me that they can't be keto because it's too fucking hard to get the food. Because they don't have the fucking time. So. Oh, let's see. Paul Merle, cheese really doesn't have lactose. That's a true story, but my yogurt does. And that's the 9 grams of carbs that are in full-fat Greek yogurt happens to be one of. I don't think it's exactly lactose. It's one of the oses, but lactose milk, pretty much. And some cheeses are pretty close to milk. I think mozzarella still has some lactose in it, if I'm not mistaken. Not much though. Not enough to move the needle at all. So yeah, cheese should be on the table but some people still don't feel good. And the other thing that people run into is they eat eggs and they don't feel good. I myself am fine. I love eggs and they're a staple. They're regularly consumed by me on this diet. And they're very nutrient dense. But some people don't feel good when they eat eggs, and not sure exactly what that is. It might just be the way those eggs were produced. So, let's see. Lizzie Fool, Lisa Fool, I think. Lisa? Yeah, something like that. I think it might be my whole milk consumption. So back to coconut and almond milk for now. I myself have not been drinking milk for quite a while. I haven't had the urge. I haven't had the desire. I drink water. And I drink coffee, and I put heavy cream in my coffee. And there's no lactose in heavy cream either. Heavy cream is pretty much just fat. So, I don't know. Come on. If you like kind of that, maybe there's something you could do with heavy cream to make it more milk-like. I haven't experimented with flavoring heavy cream with things. But, yeah, it's pretty much what I'd do there. Circus Boy 90210, you study microbiology. Not so much. I've been more obsessed with the endocrine system, our hormones, a little bit about gut bacteria, so I guess that's kind of microbiology, but the science is still fairly new on that. A little bit about ATP and mitochondria and that kind of stuff. I haven't gotten really deep into enzymes and, transporters and those kinds of things that are really like the next level of biochemistry. Like I would need to study a lot to get to that level of knowledge. I'm content to find people who I think are very knowledgeable in those departments and get their interpretations of things, especially if there's a consensus among those experts, so to speak. But as time goes on, I seem to delve a little deeper into, the cellular level. And within the intracellular level, like autophagy, for example, is where the cell breaks itself down and recycles the amino acids to create new cells. And, that's kind of as close to microbiology as I get, I guess. I haven't studied yeast. There's a lot of experiments with yeast as a model for things. So hopefully, as time goes on, my education and knowledge in that department has grown. I mean, if you look at how far I've come from even just a year and a half ago, as far as what I've learned and the things that have shifted my knowledge, you'll see that I just keep learning. It's lifelong learning. It's a great way to improve your life. You're constantly learning something new. You're constantly applying new, theories and trying things out to keep going forward in your knowledge. I need to drink some water and shit. How are we doing on time? I've completely lost track of time. Oh, we're only at an hour and 15 minutes into it. Erfrin, are probiotic drinks okay on keto? As long as there's no carbs, you're probably fine. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. As far as probiotics, I don't think we know enough about gut health to really manipulate it optimally yet. There's products that will market to you that say they do that. I am skeptical. I've always been kind of anti-supplement, so I'm not really, too keen on doing any supplementation if I'm not deficient in anything. If I feel good and my weight's on point and my, energy's on point and the doctor's saying I'm good to go, if those criteria are met, I'm not looking to push the needle any further. I've pretty much moved the needle tons. I went from being pre-diabetic and obese to 0.6 overweight according to the BMI. Consistently getting under 36 inches around my belly measurement. I'm happy. I don't need to worry about, gut health and squeezing that extra few years of health span out. I'm pretty sure if I don't get killed by something else, I'll make it into my 70s without a lot of pills and a lot of doctor's visits. That's assuming I don't do something else to fuck myself up physically. You can still break bones, fall down stairs, get hit by a bus. There's any number of ways. We can't really control the external influences, but we can control our diets and let those not be the ways we go out. So I guess, does that make sense? Where you're just not, so concerned with optimal health. You can get sucked into it doing this too. You can be sucked in, am I doing this right? If I got the proper ketone level, if I got this going and that going, and you just get into this mode where you're looking at the next fucking little minute thing you can adjust to push the needle that much fucking further that way, and you don't need to do that. You don't. And in fact, if you do that, you might even stress yourself out and, cause cortisol problems and all kinds of other fucking problems. And it's a diminishing return at that point. You can get most of the way there. I contend if you have already reversed a lot of your issues, you've lost a lot of weight and you're keto and you feel good and everything's going well, you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the standard American dieters that are going to be your age. And I look around people my age all the time, and I see that I am one step ahead of them in the health span department. I see them getting sick. Some of them are on pills already. A lot of them are overweight or obese. And a lot of them are struggling. And a lot of them are stressed. A lot of them are miserable. And I'm not. I'm not perfect. I still have my little depressions every now and then, not nearly as much as I used to, not currently even. But it is what it is, you gotta do what you gotta do in shit. Alrighty. Steve Yaks, cheese does have casein. A lot of people have issues with it. True story. I don't think I have issues with it though. So I'm good. But it's just, if you're feeling like shit, you think you're having issues, or you're having some kind of problem with something and you don't feel good, something's off, removing individual foods from your environment for, like, say, a week. Say if you think cheese is a problem, don't eat cheese for a week. You think dairy is a problem, don't eat dairy. Or do a couple weeks and see how you feel. And then, just to be sure, because you might like cheese and dairy, Try it again. And if you start feeling like shit again, guess what? You got your culprit. You knew what was fucking you up. And that is a very simple tool you can use to rule out which foods are good and bad. For example, I'm doing this myself right now. I'm in the middle of doing this to determine if pork rinds with French onion dip, which has MSG and some unhealthy elements to it. It seems like every time I sit down and have pork rinds with French onion dip, I get bloated, I gain weight the next day, I feel a little bit shittier, and then on days when I don't, none of those things happen. So right now I'm kind of experimenting. I'm removing it from the diet, see what happens, and then I'm adding it back in to see if I go back to the way things were. And that's one of the things you can do to figure out if something you're eating is fucking you. All right. How are we doing here? I gotta check something on the stream, so just be patient and shit. All right. Rachel Pincus, take vitamin D3. It is cheap. No, I'm good. You know, I was told I was vitamin D deficient 4 years ago, and they gave me a huge supplement, which I never took. I've experienced no symptoms as a result. I think I'm fine. I get enough sun to survive. I'm not worried about vitamin D3, to be honest with you. We'll see. I'm getting blood work done in a couple months, which will be very interesting, because that'll be a heavily keto-adapted blood work. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will, of course, share the results. But, yeah, that's how it is. Sharpie nails, pork rinds have MSG, and they mess me up too. So, yeah, I'm thinking the MSG is a thing. I'm thinking there's a problem with that. Not sure what it is, but it seems like every time, because they're in pork rinds sometimes. I did find a brand of pork rinds that did not have MSG added to it. However, the dip definitely does. So, Ron Deneff, how would you fry chicken? In lard. If I were to have fried chicken, and it's impossible to find this right now, I would fry it the way they used to fry everything before vegetable oil. Butter and lard. That's how you fry shit. You know what? McDonald's fries used to taste fucking great when they fried them in butter and lard. Or beef tallow, I think. No, they use beef tallow. That's the other way you can fry shit. So, you know, got to get out of the vegetable oil. Vegetable oils are bad for us. A lot of the diseases of modern day also correlate, in addition to correlating with sugar, also correlate with us adopting vegetable oils, starting out with Crisco, I think, in 1912. They're inflammatory. They're not as easily broken down by the body. They are not part of a ketogenic diet. If you're eating lots of vegetable oil, canola, soybean oil, corn oil, those kinds of oils, you're not being keto completely. You're canceling out the the anti-inflammatory benefits of being keto if you're eating lots of vegetable oil, because that's pro-inflammatory. And we don't want inflammation. A lot of inflammation's bad. Can cause problems, especially if you already have clogged arteries from years of fucking up. Ron Deneff, my wife can't stand the smell of lard, that I would prefer to fry chicken. Try beef tallow, I guess, or, I don't know that you could create a big vat of, butter to deep fry something, or just fry it in butter, I guess. I myself, if I do chicken wings, by the way, char grilled, not fried. I love char grilled wings. And whenever I get wings now, I specifically go to places that char grill them, because I know I'm not getting vegetable oil fucking fried wings. I know they're not breading them. And I'm getting, the nice charcoal-y fucking taste of wings cooked up on the grill. And if you need some kind of barbecue sauce, then come up with a ketogenic one that doesn't have sugar in it. If you like red hot sauce, guess what? Buffalo sauce, perfectly keto. Get some Frank's Red Hot, mix in some butter with it, and you have yourself a nice buffalo sauce. Slather that shit over them fucking char-grilled wings, and I guarantee you they'll beat the shit out of you, them fucking vegetable oil fried pieces of shit you get from most pizza places. Sorry. Get a little passionate about my chicken wings. How about frying chicken in coconut oil? Anybody tried it? I can't imagine that tasting good. But hey, let me know if that experiment works out for you. Let me see if there's any questions. My channel, how's the not drinking going? It's going great. I have not had a drink since the one little drink I had on New Year's at midnight, which was a half a glass of champagne. Or not even half a glass. It was like a shot of champagne, literally, at midnight. And that's the only drink I've had. I am stone sober. And I work part-time in a bar, and I'm managing to stay sober. So that says a lot. I occasionally have moments of desiring alcohol, but they're starting to become fewer and further between as time goes on. So, it's basically, it's getting easier with time. And I think as long as I don't reintroduce alcohol into the work by having a cheat day, that I might be able to stay sober long term. But we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of social pressure in the drinking department too. Lucretia, how's your mom doing? She is doing fine. She is, she had the back problem. Her stroke has not returned. I've been counseling her plenty on, reducing the carbs and sugar to reduce the risk of having another stroke, which isn't the standards of care. And she doesn't listen to me. She still eats processed foods and breads and pastas and shit. But hey, I can't force anybody to do anything. I can just give them the information, but they can't say that they didn't know this. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, you're going to eat unhealthy, but at least know you're eating unhealthy. Bottom line. So that way when it happens again, you know why. And you know why it happens. And then you really have no one to blame at that point. So, but she's doing fine. No problems at all. She is managing back pain, though, and on a number of pain meds for that. So that's a whole other thing. Irfin, Scott, I tried pizza with no base, high Fulton, low carbs. Shows how to cook it. I don't know what Fulton is. And shit. Or is that the name of a channel, I guess? Fulton, low carb. It's a lot of work. I just like putting my fucking pizza toppings in a bowl, throw them in the microwave, eat my pizza toppings, and move on with my day. And I get just as much pleasure out of that as I would have eaten a slice of pizza. Notorious SOB watching drunk motherfuckers act a fool helps with the urge, I'm sure. And yes. I hang out and work in a bar and see a lot of severely drunk people on a regular basis, and it does discourage me from going back. Because I know I was just like every one of them motherfuckers. I was that guy. A lot of my life. Most of my 20s. And it's time that I took a step back and stopped being that way. I got other shit to do, I don't want to waste days laying in bed hungover. I don't want to ostracize friends and destroy relationships. I want my life back. And alcohol was taking a lot of that away from me. Let's see here. CBD cures back pain. I don't know about that. Rosemary Bud 59. Pigs get fed a lot of junk. Sooner use coconut oil, tasteless version instead. Yeah, most factory farmed food, animals get fed a lot of junk. I don't know. Like I said, we're diminishing returns when you talk about the health differences between factory farm and organic foods and shit. I just want to take a moment while I'm thinking about it to point to everyone to the podcast that I am now doing on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. I plan on recording one per week. Right around Monday should be when I deliver them. For just $2 a download, you get a couple hours of me talking, much like this right now, in a pure audio format that you download and you can listen to with earbuds or whatever instead of having to watch my face all the fucking time on the screen. So that's what's in the works. And I just want to let everybody know the link to that is already in the description to this video. So go ahead and check it out. And you can also, there's a tip jar there in case you want to contribute to the channel and you're not comfortable with doing it through Super Chat. So, anyways, back into the questions and shit. Paul Merle, shave your beard. Fuck no. Do you realize the amount of compliments I get for my beard? For every one person that says shave your beard, I get 10 people saying, "Great beard, motherfucker! That's some good beard and shit. I wish I could grow mine." I get stopped on the street. "It's an epic beard." So yeah, every once in a while, someone like yourself tells me to get rid of the beard, but I got a lot of people telling me to keep it. When I'm in the bar, women randomly come up and braid it. Just saying. What are they going to do if there's no beard there? Gray or not? Just saying. And shit. Chad, have you looked into vitamin K2 prevention of a grabber? RE, prevention of a grabber. Keeps calcium in the bones rather than the arteries. Well, I'm not deficient in it, so I haven't really looked into, if I started to find deficiencies during my blood tests, I would, obviously research it, but I don't think that that's an issue for me. But yes, vitamins are the gateways for minerals. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of vegans don't get that as well. That if, for example, fat-soluble vitamins that can only be absorbed with fat, if you don't eat them with fat, you aren't getting them. And if you become deficient, then you can have mineral problems as well. And electrolyte issues and cramps and all kinds of shit. So vitamins are important. The question is how important. That's the thing, everyone has this recommended daily value and shit. Yet I've been spotting evidence, particularly from the carnivores, that some vitamins you may not need as much as we think we need. And being that the supplement industry is quite a wealthy industry, I don't trust them to tell me how much vitamins and, I need. I barely trust doctors to do it as well. So the reason I'm anti-supplement is if I'm not deficient, I don't feel the need to supplement. And if I do become deficient, I would look to what foods that I'm lacking that could make up that difference. Long before I consider, supplements would be a last resort for me. I'd have to be largely deficient in something, experiencing some kind of symptoms as a result, before I turned to supplementation, because I don't believe in them. I don't believe that we absorb them properly. I think vitamins are meant to come in through nutrition, through our food, not in a pill, not in a liquid that's added to shit. That's not how we're designed to eat. I want to eat as close to the way we used to eat as far as, getting our vitamins and nutrition, and it's hard. Granted, a lot of vegetables aren't as nutrient dense. A lot of foods are a little bit fucked up now, and it's hard to get all those needs. But I do the best I can without supplementation and shit. Let's see. My channel my channel wrote Mexican grocery stores sell giant containers of lard, and they're probably healthier in that respect. And I don't see it coming back. You can buy lard. I've seen it in grocery stores. I've never personally used it. I'm a butter guy, and most of my fat is either attached to the meat or it's in butter form. Olive oil I do some, mainly on salad dressings and stuff. Butter and heavy cream are pretty much my biggest fat sources, followed by the fats in meats and cheese. So that's it. That's all I do for fat, really. But I butter the shit out of everything I eat. Like, if I have a steak, there's butter on it. If I got vegetables, like tonight, I had 2 ground beef patties, cheeseburgers, so to speak, with some melted whole cheese on them. And I put some salad greens on the side and had melted butter, and I poured melted butter over all of that shit. The whole fucking thing. Patties and all. And then I took some fucking Montreal seasoning and I slackled that shit on there, and that gave me plenty of salt and garlic and all kinds of other fucking spices, and I ate that way. No dressing, butter, some spices on my salad. And you know what? I'm getting used to eating it that way. I might not go back to regular salad dressing except for when I eat out. And even then, that's a minefield, and I try to, partition any dressing I take in. Like, I always ask for it on the side so that I pour half of it on and then leave the rest, alone. But you got to be careful with butter in restaurants because they like to give you margarine, which I found out not too long ago and wasn't happy about. Circus Boy 90210 are habaneros. Sorry, I don't know if habaneros are keto. I don't even know what a habanero is. Shows you how much research I do on that. Rosemay Bud 59 Spy, was that attention positive? Not get lost baldy. Okay. I don't know what that means. My bad. Alright. Notorious SOB. My wife is a phlebotomist. Alright, yeah, I got it. I can read. I get free lab work regularly. I've been keto for over a year, currently at my high school weight at 46 years old. That's awesome, by the way. I've not achieved my high school weight. My high school weight was 175, so I'm still a ways from there. About 15-ish pounds, 14 pounds away or so. Yeah, 14 pounds away from my high school weight. My doctor is going keto because, and I assume that means because she saw your blood work and what you've been doing. And I wish more doctors would go keto. And that's an awesome fucking story. And you should share that with everybody that you know. And bring more people into the keto fold, so to speak. That's how we get this on, into the mainstream. We get people to fucking do this by showing them that it works and that we like it and that we enjoy it and we feel good and that everything is improved. That's how you get, you can't tell them. You can't be like, look, that sugar's going to kill you. And they'll sit there and drink a soda. Oh yeah, it's killing me right now. I'm dying, asshole. Thanks. Thanks for the advice, fucker. No. They got to, first of all, be dissatisfied with the way they feel, or the way they look, or both. And then they got to want to change. And then when they're looking to somebody for an example of how to change, they'll see you, Notorious SOB. And they'll be like, wow, that motherfucker's doing better at 46 than I'm doing at 25. And they will come over to that. They will give it a try. And that's how it works and shit. Paul Merled, you are gay. No, but you are bigoted or something. There's something wrong with you if you're saying that. Just saying. Let's see. Spive, all my blood work improved on keto. So there's another example. Yeah. Share. I'm going to be putting a spot on the website soon for people to share their stories. Because I do want to do a podcast or a video of people's results. Like if you have blood work improvements, health, not necessarily before and after pictures. As I've said before, I don't want that to be the motivating factor. I mean, you can, but that's not really what I'm looking for. I'll be looking for your story, where you started out health-wise, how old you were when your health started deteriorating, and what point you righted the ship, and did you get there, and how you got there. And I'll be putting that together probably next week. To where you can go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, submit all of that, and then I will put together some videos and podcasts that tell your story and share it with everybody. Because, you know, everyone knows what I've done. You can go back, see my first vlog, see how big I was back then, and how miserable of a prick I was back then. And you see where I'm at now. And, you know, but I don't want to be the only endpoint. I want everyone to see the progress this is doing for a lot of people, not just me. But you can search and find this shit, but I feel that being able to add that to the videos will help reward people that have come all this way, of being able to share their progress to help other people as well, to a larger audience. So that's what I'm looking at there. So. Lucretia, I think keto is good for meat eaters. I think keto is good for everyone, not just meat eaters. There are vegan ketos who get most of the way there. Like I said, there's some vitamin deficiency issues. If you supplement, that'd be one case where you'll hear me say take supplements, as if you're a vegan keto. If you're not a vegan keto, you are getting supplements, but you're also getting sugar and processed foods and all that other shit. But if you're a vegan keto, you're going to probably need some supplements. Just saying. You'll be able to tell if you're hungry all the time, by the way, if you're doing it right as a vegan. All right. Circus Boy 90210, have you seen the new Cascadia with the office and Murphy bed? No, I have not, and no, I do not want to see the inside of another tractor trailer anytime soon. It's there as a backup plan. If all else fails, life goes to hell in a handbasket, all the businesses fail, YouTube decides I suck, and, you know, so on and so forth. If my entire life crumbles, then maybe I'll go take a look at the inside of that fucking Cascadia and decide whether or not to climb in the motherfucker and haul freight around again. Rochelle, my husband is a MD keto. I'm an RN keto. That's awesome. And I hope the more of the medical community starts embracing it. I'm starting to see a lot more doctors speaking out now. So, you know, that's a thing. Prawl Merled, social relationships are at least as important as nutrition. That is a true statement. Now, your definition of social relationships are, you know, they vary from person to person. I have really great friends. I have my mother as far as family goes. I have a good support system emotionally. Yeah, I'm not in the romantic department right now by choice. I'm choosing not to play the dating game just yet because I'm satisfied with my social needs being met by my friends and family at the moment. I'm not in a position where I covet, you know, a relationship right now, you know. I'm not saying that one can't happen. I'm just not actively working on it. I'm not out dating and constantly doing that. I've been on a few dates. They just confirmed that I'm happy that I'm not dating, and then that was pretty much that. I'm not looking to jump back into that just yet. I got too much going on, to be honest with you, to give someone the kind of attention that you need in a romantic relationship at this point. And it wouldn't be fair to try and do that, to get in a relationship when I'm not able to focus on the relationship. Creed X360, Walmart carries lard. I might try frying something in lard at some point. I've never, I don't think I've had it since I was a kid, when they used to fry McDonald's fries in it. Or tallow, actually, beef tallow, they fried it in. So, no, I don't think I've ever had anything fried in lard, now that I think about it. I'll add that to my list of shit to do. Oh, Kerrygold makes great cheese also. I love their butter, but not their cheese. So, I didn't say I don't love their cheese. I just haven't had their cheese. Their butter's expensive as fuck, though, so I could only imagine what the cheese is. So, let's see if I can missed any questions back here. I want to try and make sure I got to everybody, since you guys have been very generous today with the super chats and keeping things going, and I appreciate it. I couldn't think of a better way to be spending Friday right now, actually. Normally I'd be going out or something, but nah, not tonight. Ooh, I burped. Somebody yelled at me in the comments on YouTube for burping on my videos. And, oh well, shit happens. It seems like people are really sensitive nowadays to shit. We need to stop being sensitive. Keto Princess, because I watch you quite often, I have started ending many sentences with "and shit." I've been trying to stop saying "and shit." I've got myself saying it all the time. I didn't even notice it. It was a friend that brought it to my attention that I said "and shit" a lot. And then ever since he did that, I can't stop. It's part of my speech now. I use it like a comma now in everything I fucking say. Oh, what else we got here? I think we're winding down a little here. How are we doing on time? Oh, I didn't want to do that. This is what happens when you try and run a podcast all by your lonesome. Please tell me the stream didn't drop. Okay, the stream didn't drop. I accidentally hit back. Alright. We're almost to 2 hours, so we'll be wrapping it up pretty soon. So if you have questions that I didn't get to, please bring them up again. Oh, let's see here. I'm just looking. I realize that I'm now having dead air because nothing's jumping out at me in the comments. I'm looking for questions that people want to answer. I think I got to everybody. This is kind of rare that I managed to get to most people's questions. So if you are watching this and I missed your question, now is the time. Rochelle Pincus, Butter Bob has a video on frying chicken. True story. I am not much of a cook. I've never been much of a cook. So I might put together a series where I show how to be a lazy keto that doesn't cook. So that's on the realm, but I don't bake. I've followed occasionally other recipes, but I'm not much of a chef. The foods I prepare are fairly simple and easy to prepare. And I like keeping it simple. Sometimes keeping it simple is the key to sustainability. If you don't have to work very hard to be a keto, that makes it pretty easy to be a keto. If you don't have to spend elaborate amounts of time cooking and preparing, whipping up some scrambled eggs doesn't take much time. Throwing some bacon, it doesn't take, much time. I like easy foods and shit. So, Lucretia, would you consider doing a love and relationship addiction video if you have any thoughts? Yes, I could address that issue because I did during my previous addiction video as viewing some relationships as an addiction. Some people are addicted to being in relationships. So yes, I could probably do a video on that particular subject given the large amount of relationships I've been in and have experience being in that I feel I was addicted to in some way or another, and it had all the negative consequences of addiction, including withdrawal. So, Prawl, how often do you defecate? I'm offended by the word defecate. Why don't you just ask how often I shit? Once every couple days. Took a nice big dump this morning, if you really want to know. Pretty much once every couple days. But it's been that way my whole life. I've not been a daily dumper. It's, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weird freak of nature. That's kind of how it goes. But that was, I think that's question of the day. How often do I shit? I never thought anybody would ever ask me that in my life. My life is complete now. Let's see here. Lone hiker sometimes. Is this going to be the podcast? No, it is not. The podcast will always be separate and on top of my existing YouTube content. I will not take away from the channel to do the podcasts. I will do them in my free time, likely on the weekends. I'll record them and post them. But I want to be able to still provide the level of content on YouTube that I already do without taking away from it. They're just another means of keeping the channel going and keeping me able to do this full time. And you guys seem to enjoy them. The podcast was well received. It got a decent amount of downloads, enough to make it worth the time it took me to make it. So as long as that's the case, if you guys want them and you guys listen to them and download them, then I'll keep making them. If you guys don't vote with your dollars. If you don't believe in the podcast or you don't like them, just don't buy them, and if enough people don't buy them, I won't fucking make them. So, and that'll be that. But right now, people are listening to it and enjoying it from the feedback I've gotten. So I'll keep doing the podcasts in addition to my normal YouTube content. Thanks, Lucretia, for another $5 contribution to the Keeping Me the Fuck Out of That Cascadia Fucking Truck Fund. And I appreciate it. And for all of you who have been super chatting today and who donate on Patreon and who donate through ScottTheTruckDriver.com, I'm blown away. And, I never pictured this when I started this channel. I never pictured, even when I was quitting my job, I didn't picture this level of support. I thought I would have to double down on photography. When I first quit, I was like, okay, I need to do this for photography. I started building the website. I started trying to work on some marketing. And then you guys stepped up and said, hey, asshole, so you're not in the truck as much. Can you make some more videos and shit? And I was like, all right. Yeah, okay, let's give it a try. Let's give it a good, solid go. And here we are now to where it's becoming a viable means of survival. It's not 100% yet. I would like to eventually expand the channel, expand beyond just being me, but that's only as far as we can take it. I'm going to keep pushing to grow it. I'm going to keep doing the best I can to make this channel grow. And here we are, 5,000 strong now. We're on our way to 6,000. I can see it on the horizon already at the current level of growth. And this is all possible because of supporter contributions like all of yours. And I have no words to thank you. I can only thank you by keep doing what I'm doing and keep giving you guys what you are asking for. And that is content, that is lifestyle improvement, health improvement, that is entertainment for me getting triggered by various shit. So, and Lucretia just wrote, thanks for accepting a vegan. I want to close out on this because I do have a vegan challenging me to a debate from my vegan video. I do not have anything personally against vegans. They are largely triggered by me. I respond to the more triggered, less tolerant vegans that are just spewing health, for the ideology diet. If a vegan is open-minded, especially about processed foods and sugar, I have no problem with it as long as they understand that it's not like I'm talking out of my ass. I've been doing this shit for a long time now and have helped a whole lot of people get healthier, and I'm healthier doing this while eating animals. And if a vegan can accept that, I'm perfectly fine. I'd hang out with vegans. I have vegan friends. We don't talk about nutrition much. I avoid the topic when I think it would cause a problem. But this is my channel, and I regularly get vegans that come in and try and tear me up or call me names or, spew various forms of hate. So whenever I come across a vegan who is reasonable, who looks at, the big picture, who's talking in terms of science and not terms of ideology, who acknowledges that maybe they're missing out on some things by not eating meat, but are doing so knowingly because they do not like the factory farm situation or the inhumanity to animals. And I understand that. I don't agree 100%. I believe animals are part of our diet and have been for millions of years. So I don't hate vegans. Don't ever misunderstand that, I wouldn't accept a vegan. If a vegan comes in and has a reasonable discussion with me, I like that. A reasonable debate with, real science that doesn't get into the name calling and the, browbeating and all of that shit. I like those kind of vegans. I don't like the vegans that are all preachy and resort to name calling and Dr. Greger link dropping. I'm not happy with those kinds of vegans because they're hurting people. They're telling people the diet is 100% healthy and for everybody, yet it has a 50% dropout rate. People are reasonable. Whether they, what a person eats, chooses to eat or not eat, should not dictate whether or not they're good people. And from what I can tell, Lucretia, from your comments, because I read a lot of your comments, and of course you're contributing to this channel. You're probably one of the few vegans that does that. That you're a good person at heart, and it's not just a vegan quality, but there are a lot of people that aren't good people at heart on every side of the equation. And I don't like to label vegans necessarily, associate them with bad people. They're not. There are bad vegans. There's bad ketos. There's bad fucking assholes all over the place, regardless of their diet. So that's kind of, that's what we're at. So, all right, we'll wrap it up here. I think we're getting to the end of the 2 hours. Yeah, so I'll take a few more comments and questions. First, I want to acknowledge the super chats. Laza Fool gave me a $5 contribution to keep me from going back to trucking or running around in Uber. If you guys hate Uber so much, good way to keep me out of Uber is to keep me doing this for a living. So thank you, Laza. Or Liza. I butcher names. So, Notorious SOB, send prow a turd. I don't think anybody wants a stool sample from me. I'm pretty sure the Postal Service does not want that. I would be curious to have some kind of stool work done sometime down the road to see how I'm doing in the gut microbiota department. But like I said, the science isn't quite definitive in gut biology, but I do believe it has a very, very important role to play. So as crude as Prawl's being, here I am, fucking truck driver calling somebody crude. But shitting is an important part of health. If if it isn't coming out the other end just right, your health will decline. As far as Prawl, I do agree. We do got to, or whatever. We do got to keep our gut healthy. I do agree with that, but I contend that if we eat properly, if we eat the way we're designed to eat, we will restructure our gut in a way that is supportive of that. Our gut adapts to what we eat. If you eat lots of carbs and sugar, that's what your gut's going to deal with. That's how the kinds of bacteria you're going to grow are the ones that feed off the foods you're eating. If you're eating lots of vegetables and high fiber, you're going to have a different gut bacteria than a carnivore, for example, who gets very little fiber. Consequently, if you eat meat, they've tested this through a colostomy bag. Very little ends up in your digestive system. You use most of it. You use almost every piece of meat and fat you eat. And that says something. And that might have something to do with a different vitamin ratio that you may need. You may need more vitamin C if you eat a lot of carbs than if you have no carbs, which is evidenced by people that have been carnivore for over a year and didn't get scurvy. So that's why I said there's a few things that the jury's out on. One is the recommended daily vitamins that we have currently. I don't believe align appropriately with science. Don't know one way or another if they're too much or too little. But I do know they're financially motivated. So there's that. The fiber issue's up for debate. So there's that. There's, and the gut microbiome is an organism of itself, and figuring out the proper gut, profile is currently up for grabs for scientific studies. And however, there's a lot of marketing and probiotics and supplement markets that are trying to influence that so that they can say, we got the new probiotic thing that'll make you shit every day for the next 6 months, and your shit will be immaculate. You'll feel fucking great. You'll lose weight. You'll feel, they're going to market the shit out of this. And I want to see the science, the same way I've seen it for keto, the same way I've seen it, throughout this whole nutrition journey. The same way I've seen fat get vindicated over sugar. I want to see that for the gut microbiome coming up, because I do believe, we're connected through neurons. It can cause you to crave foods if you have a certain gut profile. And I think it has a profound influence on our metabolism too. But we haven't explored it enough, I believe, to make a definitive conclusion on what to take and what not to take and how often we should shit. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to all my super chatters who have contributed today. Let me go through and make sure that I got to thank everyone, in case someone scrolled by and I missed it and shit. That's if I can find it. All right. I got to look at the other screen here. Bear with me just a sec. So, the following super chatters made me do this live stream tonight for a couple hours, and I want to thank them for allowing me to continue this channel and stepping up and providing this content for everyone, because I do know not everyone can or is willing to contribute, but could still benefit from this information. Dave and MSP, thank you. Lucretia, thank you a lot. You donated a couple times. So did Circus Boy 90210. Nuns on Fire. Circus Boy 90210 donated 3 times, by the way. That's very generous, by the way. And I'm glad that, you're contributing as much as you are, and not just monetarily. You've been lighting up the chat with a lot of good questions and comments too. So Nuns on Fire, Marion Hanley, Lucretia, Leza Fool, and Notorious SOBs brought you this live stream this evening, along with everyone who's contributed on ScottTheTruckDriver.com via the tip jar. The link is in the description. Also, Patreon is still there, but, only if you really like having the subscription model is the only benefit that gets. I do link my blog posts to Patreon so you can keep up there, but honestly, if you like the Facebook page, Scott the Truck Driver, and you keep up with the website, you're pretty much able to keep up with everything I'm doing, new award things that come out. I'll be rolling out the research page soon where you can submit a research contribution that I can then go over and decide whether or not I, into that, and whether or not it will help, to share that information, and whether it built, maybe you'll bring something to my attention that maybe it was lacking. There's all kinds of things that you guys already kind of do in the comments that, it's important to be able, and sorry, Circus Boy is throwing more money at me saying, Trucky bought you that money. Well, you're choosing to spend that money, and yes, you probably are trucking for a living, but I'm choosing to make YouTube videos and not be in trucking. So me doing this has led to you doing that, if you look at it that way. Anyway, but thank you anyway, Circus Boy. I got completely distracted. So yes, there's going to be a research section, and we will continue to grow our knowledge base, grow as a channel. I'm looking forward to being able to learn new things from you guys. As I've seen, there's already comments that come in with this stuff. I get links every day. I get videos to watch every day. You guys are already doing this. I want to kind of centralize it so I can more easily give credit to people who submit something that I talk about. So that's coming up. Of course, the podcast is on deck as well. So please go check it out. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I appreciate it and shit. And now I'm going to stall a little bit so I can roll the the January credits. And remember, I am not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. More shit. All kinds of shit. All kinds.